morning. Oh, I see y'all in the building. I love it that you're awake. I'm not normally awake at this time. I appreciate your energy, yo. Thank you for being here. Um, wow. So even though I don't normally get up this morning, I'm so grateful and thankful to be here and speak and join in fellowship with all you. And it's a really good time to set your intentions and also be continuously grateful. Um, Grateful for everything that we have, grateful for this next chapter of life, grateful to see some light at this out of this pandemic or panoramic. So thankful and grateful for that. And thank you so much, Les, for the dope vibes. I am also a big lover of Shaka Khan, and soul is the basis of a lot of my hip hop and emceeing. So I really, really appreciate that you put the soul and you set the tone for that. We got to maintain the soul of music. Can y'all hear me real good? I just want to make sure I'm a check in the chat here. I tried to get dressed up for y'all nice and early, Lord. I did. Thank you for having me, Raquel. Thank you for the CMDC team. Y'all are dope. I'm gonna do a little something for fun right here. And I really like to empower all people, especially Black women and girls. So I wrote this in dedication to a young dance team that put together something online to display their talents. So let me do this remix real quick. Y'all hear that come in? Word. Yeah. Mad, I'm a queen in my core, thriving oils. Dripping from the now when I walk is profound. Can't keep up with me cause my style versatile. Calling on my ancestors like, hey, you like me now, huh? 5'5" long hair might be. Short hair, don't care, that's my business high key. Got my business low key, example IE. Self-care, I'm aware attracts abundance to me. I'm a bad and no B, walk to my own heat. I ain't asking for permission, I'm what's missing in these streets. It's because I'm about to reach, busting doors off the leash. Know my power about to preach, you ain't ready for my peace, hey? For my queens, I need you to hold your heads up high. Know thyself. Hey, and I'm up. Y'all got me up early in the morning, and it's stuck with some coffee. I'm not gonna lie to you, no. I want to talk a lot about the topic and mix it in here with some verses of mine. I really enjoy hip hop, and if anything, my art has definitely been a way that I've made ripples. And CMDC created this dope post for me, and when I was like, what's gonna be my caption? And the good divine sent me like this sentence that I wrote down in my caption, and I said, I cause ripples that inspire movements that make shifts. And I said, oh, that could be a mantra. I cause ripples that inspire movements that make shifts. Because, many a time we don't even think that, like, when we're throwing out our little rock in the water and, maybe we don't get like a few pounces on that water, right, that creates those nice, beautiful ripples. We think, nothing's activated. And it's crazy how, like, seeds you plant early on, the rocks that you throw out in the water early on, how later they can start growing those ripples and making an effect, especially when it's towards being your higher self and you're putting out good into the world. It seems to like continuously resonate. You know what I'm saying? Like if you throw out, negativity, kind of dies real fast, hurts people really quick, But when you do that positivity, when you throwing that ripple out there, when you throwing that rock out there, it just continues to move forward. So, I would love for you guys to adopt or think about this mantra as well. I cause ripples that inspire movements that make shifts, because we are making shifts. We are making change. We may not see it, with a lot of things that have happened in the panoramic and, previous, right? But, we're seeing those seeds we planted, right? So I want to kind of go a little bit back, memory lane and say, I knew I wanted to save the world in some way. Deep down, I knew I was a hero in every movie and every book I read. Who else felt like that? Y'all felt like that, like y'all was watching those movies with Brad Pitt and everybody. Like, I'm gonna save the world, you know. I was like, I'm gonna be like Kuta Kinte. I'm gonna go hard. I'm not gonna be a slave. Like, I was watching all of those films, and they always inspired me, you know. And then I started my early life in middle school and elementary school, and then popularity became a big deal, and high school and cliques and boys and damn, this is so high school made every girl a rival. Cause I wanted to be beside you, and beside you, no one else, or all else you was gonna get dealt with. That's when I melted. That's when you felt it. Get my hair did, toes did, try to never do what them hoes did, and so I noted, pen and pad, it went on my path to make them mad. Hey, what was I to do if you never knew, never wanted to screw it up, or somehow I did when we did on the couch, and who else to see is about to mount a cliff, fall in the muddy waters, looking like a forest with my get me knots, was confused but in tune with how you got me high, needed a whole damn lot. And I wouldn't change the opportunity from moving place to place. I was a military brat. I traveled. I lived in Germany, Colorado, Texas, and I was constantly always having to reintroduce myself. And in these spaces, I had to move around into different communities. I, experienced racism. I experienced colorism. I also experienced, many different people, and used to find genuinely friends in some of these spaces because I had to deal with so much adversity. And so I was blessed to see, how they were growing up in those communities as well. And I was able to really find people who celebrated me, and what's important to know when you are going through like your early journey, and when you're growing and trying to find acceptance outside of self and within self, that you are even starting ripples. You're starting ripples then, if you're coming from a positive space, you're starting from ripples then, and it's not easy work. And I remember when I took social studies in the 5th grade, and we were learning how curse words originated. And I asked my teacher where the F word came from. And I was looking around the classroom, and I was like, damn, that was really bold. Like, for me to ask, where does the F word come from? When I think on it now, I had some guts for real. And, but, he told me, for unlawful carnal knowledge. And that stuck with me forever, for unlawful carnal knowledge. And I looked it up later in life and found out for unlawful carnal knowledge is actually a band. I said, oh, wow, he was real slick with that. So I put it in this song called Vernacular. For unlawful carnal knowledge, I'm wedged into worry while they suck and hurry. I'm just skating, do my derby. Watch these cameras all pervert me. Won't respect my name and dirt me, but I woke up early. Even when I'm freaking late, I'm apple saucing. Frosting, the cake, bake, you play 8. When I in the Judy's Ace, I'm planning an escape with the Save the World 10.8. Love potion number 9, fine dine. I want a piece of American pie lie. Under pudding pop, shocked that I ate the chocolate up while they sell me Californication. Afro on Rodeo, black exploitation, and all this to the congregation. And early on, my teacher didn't even realize that he put a ripple in me. He did not realize that he put a ripple in me. And a lot of the rhymes that I make are like premonitions and stories that I had early on, mixed with also things that I feel to come. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do vernacular for you guys. I had a little bit of sound trouble, so I had to flip to my phone and mix it up, but let me know if you hear it when I get the beat on. I want everybody to listen. Y'all hear that? Good sounds good. All right, good. I've been waiting. Hey. Yeah. Yeah, there's a war in the feeling, they ain't keeping it real. They think it's easy to peel just cause they flipping those bills. The only road is for heal, but if I trump it'll cost, huh? We already walking dead in the land of the lost. I've been taking it way back, say Jack. Been my own wicked woman on the track while they turking in a trap. I'm gonna get them plaques, yeah, my mind is on them racks. I'm just staying loosely back, go and get that contact with your loose leaf. Leaning on the wall with your bathroom pass. Need a Wonder Woman in your life, hold fast. How I'm gonna tell the truth? I want you puff, puff, pass. Dun, da, da, da. Speak my vernacular. Speak my vernacular. Speak my vernacular. Hit me. For unlawful carnal knowledge, I'm wedged into worry while they suck and hurry. I'm just skating through my derby, watch these cameras all pervert me. Don't respect my name and dirt me, but I woke up early. Even when I'm freaking late, I'm apples housing. Frosting the cake, like you play, eh? Why the ingenuity's apes are planning an escape. Wait to save the world 10.8. Love potion number 959. I want a piece of American pie. Lie under pudding pop, shock that I ate the chocolate up. Why they sell me Californication. Afro on rodeo, blaxploitation, and all this to the congregation. Speak my vernacular. Speak my vernacular. Speak my vernacular. Yeah, y'all. Forgive me, it's early, and you know what? Thank you. I'm over here. I was bill watching last night. I knew. I said I have to get up early. I need to sleep in good, and I still was watching The Handmaid's Tale. Had me up all night. I was like, they got to get free. Save the kids. Save the kids. I was going through it, so I apologize in advance for not being fully awake. But I am so excited to be here, and I'll tell you, The Handmaid's Tale definitely gave me some energy this morning. I'm down with off Red, off Joseph, in the future. Hear me. So with the journey of the ripples, you're going to get fired. You're going to lose friends. You're going to grow out of them. You're going to want to give up. You're going to want to take a break. You've got to pay your dues, many trials and tribulations. It's all a part of the skills in creating your story. And it doesn't matter how old you are, where you are in life. I always try to be a child coming to any space and learning and respecting it, respecting like what wisdom anyone young and old has to give to me. And you take what you need and you leave what doesn't serve you. You know what I'm saying? So those ripples can come at any time in your life, and allow those walls to be brought down so you can experience change within you, the rippling within you. When I think back, rippling seems to come organic to me because most of my life I've been creating space for my authentic being just to exist. You know what I'm saying? The versatility of my hair. You know what I'm saying? From fro to blowout to cut, to being just being present in my being a tall Black woman, being a dark-skinned Black woman, you know, being oppressed and repressed constantly has inspired a lot of those ripples. My ancestors paved the way, and I'm inspired by my journey of adversity, love, community, God, and the universe. And it's crazy because when I think back to how deep ripples begin in my life from a book I read when I was a child, where I don't know if any of you all have read the American Girl series, but there was a story on Addie. And Addie was this young Black girl who was born into slavery, and her parents, I think it was her mother, who wanted to get out, and they were learning how to follow the North Star to leave. And early on, that planted a seed in me that, freedom was my right, and freedom planted in me early has been the ripple throughout my life, has been the what at all costs I must respect and follow freedom and bring others and open their eyes up and be aware of freedom, how I be rippling. Acceptance of self has created ripples, holding my head up high and respecting the divine versatility I have within, daring to ask questions and go against the grain, daring to be an artist, daring for respect as a female hip hop MC. Oh, yes, has definitely created ripples. Um, my genre of music has been male dominated for years. And the only way that women have really been truly accepted is with their sexuality. And I find that there is a necessary balance, but that's not the only thing. Yeah, I got a little bit of Lil' Kim in me, but I also got a little bit of Lauryn Hill. If y'all know about Lauryn Hill, if y'all don't know about them women, you better Google them. They are pioneers to your freedom. Little Kim helped us own our sexuality. Lauryn Hill was like, yo, you can be smart and you can challenge the system. I need to find it somehow. I need to find it somehow. Hip hop, where are you? Hip hop, where are you? I need to find it somehow. I need to find it somehow. Hip hop, where are you? Hip hop, where are you? Presto, the mic was in my hand, surrounded by fans. Throwing their hands up in command, playing the scam. Knew I wasn't born with diamonds on my hand, knowing my motivation was my Gucci and Prada, a day in the sand. Confused with persuasion, push words with confrontation. So you look at another beat and ask her why she hating. I was delegating. What if they were moving to what the song was saying? But I heard the game I was playing. It got deeper when I saw the hands were swaying, making obvious delays of the head that I gave. Bammers that got me paid, all in between my phrase, eyes dazed with amazement. When I told him how I gave a B a facelift, I was shameless with my rhyme. All that I knew, it was Dawn Perry on time, not the reflection that I was giving to a young mind, just the protection to keep my own shine. All this money that I get when I forget about the hard times. Try not to think about my conscience when all I can think about is my promise to get my mama out the drama of the projects. Can't you see I'm starving? Have the name they're calling? How can I sell out if I'm not even trying to harm them? Just want to let a woman know when a Bama drops his waist low. Being a father is a no-show. You can't get anywhere with no dough. Hold up the entrance with your birthday present and no Bama will forget it. That sentimental, dead it. Just know when he goes low, you know where he's headed. I mean, how his head is. Hold up, don't let the mic go. Drop ish, that's insightful. Save a generation from denial. Begin the revival. Let hip hop live inside you. Live inside you. Let hip hop live inside you. Hold up, don't let the mic go. Drop ish, that's insightful. Save a generation from denial. Begin the revival. Let hip hop live inside you. Live inside you. Let hip hop. I need to find it somehow. I need to find it somehow. Hip hop, where are you? Hip hop, where are you? I wrote that piece when I was 19. I put it later in a play that I wrote. It's a hip hopper called My Vessel. And the piece is about the conflict that I was having growing up listening to Lauryn Hill and Lil' Kim and MC Lyte and Queen Latifah, and trying to figure out who I was in the space of hip hop. I didn't even know I was going to be an MC, but those two things I was speaking out about earlier about being repressed in my sexuality, and also being being conscious, making sure I was delivering a message. And so I wrote that piece to understand both sides and the conflict within. You know, where Lauren, where Lil Kim was coming from Queens and Lauryn Hill from Jersey, and trying to be present and find a way in themselves and in the industry. And that piece is called My Vessel. My boy Dominic is in the piece. He was here. He was a part of the production. He took our photos. Amazing photographer. He's in the building. What's up, Dominic? Dominic Green. Make sure y'all show love. You can follow him at the writing director. Creating ripples ain't easy. Actually, it's a very slow and steady route, very unpopular. But the quality of life is a reward. How you get to build it, how you build a foundation. See, when you create ripples, you can also create legacy. Your community matters. You're connecting with your community. You're hearing them. And you're not necessarily following the status quo. You are creating your own lane and your own space, a safe space, mostly, if possible. I just dropped this single recently. It's called A Delivery. You can get it everywhere, actually. You can get it on all platforms. There's a video on YouTube I always try to direct people to first. So make sure you follow me on YouTube. My YouTube is MIZZDABISBAD. That's Ms. Dab is Bad. That's my initials forwards and backwards. Ms. Dab is Bad. MIZZDABISBAD. And I'm gonna do this for y'all real quick. Constitution, no resolution. Your illusion, your confusion, my mind, you won't prosper. I'm gonna take the lead. I'm gonna call the troops. Your constitution, no resolution. Searching for the truth since an adolescent. Been a lesson in discussing who's my descendant. I'm black, Latino, Asian, and Anglo. I'm a Django. Listen to my Django. You know my identity. Been in anonymity. Ain't enough black for the century. Still looking like an enemy. Cause I rock my curls like a centerpiece. I came from everywhere in the Middle East. I'm mentally unable to take in your fable. I rock mice like maple. Pimp words like stable. Mama Dula meant Medusa. Now these fakes is all lace. Frontin' all up in my face. I tell you if it's Ray Day, Mayday, week to week your payday. How I catch that relay out the cradle, but you still okay today. To knock your sister down, I'ma get down, get down. I'ma get down, gon' get down, get down. I'ma get down, gon' get down, get down. I'ma get down. Yeah. Your constitution, no resolution. It's your illusion, your confusion, my mind, you won't prosper too. I'm gonna get the loot, I'm gonna call the troops. We for the youth, and you for the boo. Your constitution, no resolution. It's your illusion, your confusion, my mind, you won't prosper too. I'm gonna get the loot, I'm gonna call the troops. We for the youth, and you for the boo. So much to digesting, can't eat that beeswax. None of what you hear, half of what you see. Is it really real? What do you believe? What can you conceive? If they out to deceive, make it harder to achieve, so you switch to flax seed. Hoping you survive long enough to make it reach. Oh, why they twisting when you practice what you preach? So you go and grab a piece, cause it's all you can eat and consume till you're doomed. Now you on the upper room. They forgot about it. Think a lot about it. Get your legacy against its currency on autopilot. So I need you to be about it. It's early, y'all. It's early. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all letting me tell my whole story out here. Thank you. Let me know when it's time, Raquel. Let me know. I appreciate y'all so much, man. So creating space for me and others to thrive creatively has created ripples. I've created jams, open mics, just safe spaces for artists to really be themselves. One of the things that I was always very intentional about was telling people to like, look, when you come in this space, all that drama, all that negativity, all that work or anything that you have, leave that outside the door. You know what I'm saying? In this space, we can be present, we can be loving, we can allow others to grow, and it calls for a very open and free environment that to me, I've been seeing a lot of my friends really blossom from. And sometimes people just need a little bit of love, and so love, can create those ripples. And I had an amazing space called I was in collaboration with amazing space called Muzai House, owned by my friend Gage. um, and that's where we used to have the dopest BYOB jam. And I host this space that I called the incubator. And that's where we used to incubate ourselves, the energy in this small room with like 50 people jamming a complete freestyle jam, complete with instruments. And I was the maestro, and it was amazing, amazing space. And we were displaced. We were displaced because the person who owned the building sold it to another a hotel company who was building it right next to a hotel. And I missed that space dearly, and I had to let it go. And I remember telling myself, look, that was a seed planted. Now your friends are like really developing their craft. They're passionate about their craft. They're moving forward, and you're going to see a lot. And you probably have already seen a lot of folks birthed out of that spot who are jamming and things now. I know you guys had Cecily, and Cecily used to come to the jams, and it was amazing. Fighting for my value and to be valued has created ripples. I created the DC Music Summit due to that. DC Music Summit is has been a yearly event where it's a conference where we'll have a whole bunch of classes for artists to learn how to organize their business. Because though we want management, though we want agents, it takes time to build that team, and you have to know the tools. I didn't know until I was going through LinkedIn, and I found a music accountant, and that tripped me out. I was like, a music accountant, and she helped me get LLC'd, and she was like, you can tax write off your stuff. And sometimes artists don't even know a lot of these ways that they could organize their businesses, or that they are even creative businesses, and how they can create retirements, and just things for legacy and stability, or be able to really negotiate their contracts. Some artists are really like kind of turned off to business, and I tell people that once you decide that you are going to do this full time, you're going to have to learn that balance and respect both of those things and see the art in both of them. So I created the DC Music Summit for that reason, because I got tired of hearing stories like, Billie Holiday, the rumors of they would say like, oh, she died penniless, or, seeing TLC, if any of y'all know TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool, received Grammys, and they were like, yo, we're broke. and, and I got tired of hearing those stories. So I was like, I want to do that. In my community also, especially Black community and underserved, there didn't seem to be enough knowledge to learn and know about your business to sustain. So DC Music Summit came to play in 2016, and it started in my arts collective when gentrification was happening. And I was like, yo, how are we going to thrive here? This was just before we were displaced. And then we followed up in 2017 with another one on H Street across 3 or 4 Black businesses. So it was real festival style. And most recently, just before pandemic, thank the Lord, February 1st, 2020, we had an amazing summit. And we usually averaged about 200 to 300 people. And so the next one will be in May. It'll be completely virtual, May 21st through the 23rd. You can go to dcmusicsummit.org. Going to be dropping early bird registration next week. And we're going to have performances and classes and all of that. So it's going to be awesome. Please take part of that. But me, receiving those ripples helped me to create these spaces. I'm going to do another one for y'all. And this one's called Uptown Dab. Y'all still with me? Y'all still in the chat? Okay, cool. Thank you, Kathy. I see you, Carl. Thank you. I performed this recently on WUSA 9, so you can check out the YouTube. The song isn't out yet, but you can check it out on YouTube. All right, let's go. Two strikes against us, huh? Black and woman. Well, I got two for you. Black and proud. Say it loud. Hey, yeah. Uh-oh. Psych. Technology won't let me win. That's okay. Hey. Huh. Yeah. Hip hop. Yeah. She get it how she live it, but they hating on a big man. They see this black queen and they want to get ignorant. Condemning my religion because they cannot see the vision. Regardless of suspicions, God works with precision. A presence commands you, say it with your chest. Get so mad, they gotta say it with a vest. No matter the kumbaya, you think it's a threat. I give them the ooh la la, they ain't ready yet. They see me on boulevards, the curls at the check. You better not touch a bride and chop you in the neck. Divine is an order, you better show respect. I'm Mr. Brown's daughter, and don't you forget, come on. Ooh-wee. Come on, y'all. Uptown, Dior, Ashley. Ooh-wee. Uptown, Dior, Ashley. Ooh-wee. Dior, Ashley. Hey, we gotta keep that soul, y'all. To my queens, maintain your confidence, yo. Get that when you respect your relevance, yo. Get that when you respect your evidence, yo. Push back when you respect your relevance to get, y'all, it's too early. Almost there.
Yo, Dior, thank you. You giving me all the energy I need today. Seriously.
Oh, good. I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you so much. So, like, I want to open it up for everybody to ask you some questions, and to have some reflections. It definitely got me thinking about what has caused the greatest ripple in my life. And on a personal note, is truly loving myself. Like that really did cause a huge ripple, because I don't know that I was there before. So thank you for bringing your energy to this topic and, just really making me even think and delve deep to figure out what has caused those ripples for me. Yeah. Jack, do you want to?
Yeah, Dior, I think you might be on mute, or maybe it's going through the mic. Yeah, just want to let you know.
Thank you. I was speaking out loud, but I was going to say thank you for that. And absolutely, self-acceptance to me definitely helps others see the beauty and the rippling. Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the questions we had come through was around, so you mentioned the DC Music Summit and some of the ripple effects that it's had around creating space, right? It's specifically for DC artists. And, what does it mean to you to be a DC artist?
I want to tell you also that though I grew up in this community, it's open to all. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Everybody's welcome. And ask that last question again, that last part of it.
Yeah, what does it mean to you to be a DC artist?
Oh, man. Honestly, what it means to me is, one, a beautiful journey of individualism. I will say that everyone in the city has their unique style. There are some really true artists, and I really feel like I'm in a home of true artistry. Like I was listening a playback to like all my friends. One of my friends has a really good dope playlist of local artists, and I was like, oh, that's Uptown. Oh, that's Sniper. Oh, that's Cecily. You know what I'm saying? I was just like going down the list. That's Jenna, and I was like, wow, I actually can identify everybody on the list, more than I can identify celebrities on the radio. And I'm like, who is that? Little who, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's like, you know, I really can hear all of these unique artists, and I really appreciate that we're very individual, unique. Oh, that we're so tight knit. We're very supportive. Like we were just recently fighting for basically the city wanted to kind of shut down amplified noise, and there were a lot of buskers who thrive outside, and so we created this harmonious act where we could come together. And so I really do feel like, to be a DC artist, you actually have a voice, you have a supportive community. You can say, oh, I'm dealing with all these injustices or whatever, and we're going to listen to you. And it really is like a strong sense of unity and community, and you can find like your family, your home, you can jam. And it surprises me when people are like, oh, I couldn't find anything here. I'm like, once you meet me, I'm like, what? You gonna meet everybody. So yeah, it's a really tight-knit community. So it's a supportive community. It's grown. You know, we've had many journeys. And we also are preserving our history. You know, we're preserving go-go, we're preserving you know, our leaders, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah. We had a question come through in the chat. Do you find you continually work at being present and authentic, or does this come naturally to you? What advice do you have for those who struggle with this sometimes?
I am present and authentic all the time, and I have multiple energies in me. So, you know, and I honor them. You know what I'm saying? I honor who they are in those spaces. And it can be challenging too, because early on I dealt with a lot of duality, you know, what we call code switching, you know, in the Black community. I had to, you know, code switch to get jobs. Like, you know, at one point, like I really wanted to wear my hair super straight, super fro and natural. And then, you know, my job was like, you know, your hair shouldn't be on your you know, out like that. And so, you know, or I wouldn't get jobs because of it. And that duality and me wanting to be so authentic, that was, you know, really tough in that space. And so I did a lot of sacrificing. You know, I wouldn't go into those positions, or I would fight. You know, I wasn't afraid to go communicate to HR like, yo, I'm allowed to be natural. You know what I'm saying? And you know, sometimes you have to take those stands, you know, or you just do it. You have to live, you have to know, like, your truth has to be right if it feels good to your soul. If your gut like tingles and tells you like, yo, like you are doing exactly what you're supposed to do, and you are where you need to be. To me, that is a great way to honor your authentic. And it's tough. It is tough. It's not easy. It comes easier to me now because I'm listening more to my gut. But yeah, early on, a lot of duality and trying to live in different spaces to survive, to thrive. So yeah.
Yeah. So it reminds me of what you said when you were talking about fighting for your value.
Yes.
You know? And that itself can be that ripple effect that helps you live into your authentic self.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of fighting to survive and thrive, you know, we talk about the impact that capitalism has on music, and you know, especially in spaces where, you know, they're nonprofit, artist-driven spaces. And what to you is the ripple effect of not paying artists for their work and their time?
Another reason why I created DC Music Summit, because you know, when an artist, like, if there's another artist like me, and I'm saying, you know, I have a whole band, I have a few bands I rock with, and if I want to bring my band out and I say, oh, you know, it cost about, you know, a couple of $1,000 for my band, and then I have, you know, somebody who has a similar sound, like, oh, it's only going to cost $100 for us, or because they work full time at a job, that really hurts our market. And especially in DC, which is not a friendly market to musicians. We're fighting for that space. You know, we're fighting. I mean, I've had whole law firms, you know, say, oh yeah, we want you to come to an event and perform. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is my fee. And they're looking at me crazy. I'm like, well, I got to pay my rent too. This is how I add up my fee. I paid for college. I'm still paying for college. I have my degree, so I'm paying for my arts degree where I studied performance. You know what I'm saying? I'm adding up the things that to me bring out my fly. So, like, you know, to be a creative, you are attracted to like color or whatever is, you know, identifies with your style. I won't say color. People might want to be all black. We're all black, and there's things that you may need to amplify your image. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're a public figure. You know, and then like in this pandemic alone, I have invested in a Zoom. I never thought I would have a Zoom L8 sitting in front of me, which is like a podcast slash record. Like when I shopped for this piece of equipment, I asked Chuck Levins, my homeboy Adam up there, whose father is Chuck. Um, he was like, "Yo, you need this podcast equipment because you're going to be online, you're going to be busy, online working." And he couldn't be more right. I've been able to record on this thing, and I also take it to like I can take it to live shows and things like that. But I invested in this equipment just so I could even perform, just so paying the artists, is so important because you want artists to live in that space. And then having to have a full-time job and be a creative, is not an easy feat. I've even shied at jobs from telling them that I'm a creative just so I can keep my job. But once I start being vocal about it and they realize it, oh man, it's a lot of conflict and changes because they see that more and more coming out from you. You have to like, oh, can I take off this weekend so I can do a gig at the Kennedy Center? And they're like, yo, this is your commitment, you have to pay. So it's really not easy. It's very necessary to pay the artist so we can thrive, because I pay for my marketing. Oh man, it is really important to help artists thrive. And that's another thing I wanted venue owners and just people who were curious about our scene to come to our event, DC Music Summit, and see that why they need to put into artists, because look, we're dressing up the city. My friend Khalik painted the poet who spoke at the inauguration recently against a wall facade. I mean, it's gorgeous. Amanda Gorman, I think he just painted her on. Like, we add to the city from the sound. Like, you don't want. I promise you, you do not want a city without artists. Well, I remember when they were like pretty much pushing out go-go and a lot of the soul, and there were a lot of new places to go to, but nobody wanted to go to them because they lack soul. And so then all of a sudden, the venue started tapping on artists to come through so they can get people to come to their spaces. They thought they could do it without the soulful artists of the city. And now, then when they started bringing artists back into those venues and paying artists, that's when it started getting funkier and a lot more fun again.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
reminds me of something that our last month speaker Nappy Nappa said, actually, where he was, he's talking about how we as artists, and this is paraphrasing, but he said, the artists are considered, essential and vital to the art scene of the city, and yet we're not classified as essential workers.
We're not. Yeah.
And it's just the effect of that on our value system.
Mm.
And speaking of other artists, what would you say the effect of other artists has had on your work?
Oh, yes. That is oh man. I mean, the way that I spit has a lot to do with jazz and go-go.
Mm.
So growing up with go-go and hearing the drum, um, it's such a unique syncopation. I've just never experienced anything like the go-go drum. And it just connects to my spirit. So listening to like BYB, Backyard Band, which is one of the best bands in DC, BYB Forever. They really like inspired me a lot. Just the way that they sounded and projected over the music and had fun with just experimenting with their voices, like Big G does a lot of call and response, and that inspired me a lot growing up. And oh man, like Chris Styles Bacon is one of my good friends. We had him as a keynote speaker for our 2020 summit, and he inspires me because in this pandemic, he continues to reinvent, and he also just comes from a very genuine, happy space, and I really appreciate how genuine he is and really healing people through music. So he has definitely inspired me. Uh, there are so many artists. My friend Candace Mills is just like a rich, dope sound. She used to sing all the time at 18th Street Lounge. Of course, 18th Street Lounge was amazing and it just closed down due to the pandemic. And
Yeah.
she used to just come. I used to tell her, used to come out like this angel out of nowhere with this huge voice, and she's short. And I'd be like, whoa, who is that? And she would just come into the space with so much soul and gravity, and just natural gravity in her voice. And her connection to her love for sound in the community always connects with me, because her voice is it just fills a space. It naturally fills a space with very low effort. And I really appreciate that about her. And so definitely inspired by that as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. And also the spaces with like 18th Street. Yeah.
Oh
That's
my goodness, magical. Oh, I used to turn up in there. Yes.
Speaking of spaces like 18th Street, we have a question from Dominic in the chat. And the question is, Dominic, did you want to ask the question or do you want me to? I'm happy to do it. Well, the question was, what inspired you to get on stage the first time? What gave you the confidence to pursue performing?
Okay, I'm gonna tell the truth. My stage fright was like no other. I was scared to death. There's a few situations, but I remember one where I was doing theater in Colorado at this middle school called North. And I was playing, I'll never forget her name. I was playing this detective called Millie. And I had to walk in with a gun. I was scared to death. My teacher had to push me on stage. And I had to like, hands up, my name is Millie. And my hands were shaking like this. Like I was scared. Excuse me, I didn't mean to point at y'all. But I was scared. I was scared to death. And I think that I always wanted to overcome that feeling. I knew there was something inside of me, but I was so scared. Like growing up, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, and I used to sing everything Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men, like SWV. Like I was in the house singing those songs to the top of my lungs. So I knew I had a voice, but I was scared to death. And I think once my teachers started wanting more from me and pushing me, their passion to want to see what was in me let me know that I had something that it felt like they needed to hear, that because it was like, why am I getting all these things and I'm scared to death? So I think it had a lot to do with my teachers pushing me, and then I started falling in love with it. And I will not lie to you, I get scared and nervous every single time. I've just now forgiven myself for my humanity, and everything doesn't have to be impeccable every time, and how you can live in your flaws, and in your era, being strong in your era, and how much joy that can bring. So yeah, I would say that the confidence of it being joyful. And then also sometimes the divine just speaks through me. There are just times where I'm like, I'm gone. Like there's I've already floated, and me and the audience have gone somewhere else. And it'll take the song to end to bring me back, you know? And so
Yeah.
I'm just committed fully in that moment, many times at Marvin's, I used to jam on Thursdays there with my band, the DAB band, and it was lit and it was surreal every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is just, I love this, forgiving yourself for your humanity. I love that. It's just that it resonates so much with everything you've said so far, right up to this point about, loving yourself and accepting your authentic self, and all the ripples that caused, and then creating the DC music scene and everything from, getting up on stage and like moving yourself into that space. And, can you think of a time where, what event caused the greatest ripple in your life?
Hmm. Um, okay. So I'm sure there was one way more honestly shocking in my life, but it's the first one that came to mind. So I had to tell it. Okay, so one of my friends wanted to recreate the BET Hip Hop Cipher, and with the local artists. local MCs. And I was a part of a squad called Fatal, Phatal, Fatal Records, films, records, and skateboards. And we were just cute motley crew. Like we was just like random. We were random, and everybody thought we were signed because the way we looked online on our Weebly account, like they thought we were signed. Okay, we were running up and down U Street. We used to have Thursday night networking, which was like a weekly event. But what have you, they had me come through, and I wanted to be the first lady, so I had like this bomb green turtleneck, and I put out my grandma's fur, you know what I'm saying, because like, well, I'm gonna go stuff for my people, right? I'm gonna be the first lady. And so when we got to the space, couldn't remember my rhyme. Oh man, I can't remember my rhyme. And thank goodness it was recorded, and they let me do that piece like 20 times. And I remember like, because what happened was I built it up so far up in my head, and I really like, I wanted to be like, yo, the baddest, I'm the baddest, I'm representing my boys, I'm fitting in, and I couldn't let it go for a long time. Like we were even all in the car, and everybody's like, yo, this happens to the best of us. And, but I didn't want to hear like that. You're bruising my ego. Like, so they were, all my friends were really supportive that day. And then, when I thought further about it, I was like, oh, wow. Like, one, the experience was amazing. And then two, forgiving myself for being human and in my error. And though it was extremely embarrassing at the time, it is one of the life lessons that I always go back to, that like, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to breathe. A lot of times we're stuck in that space, and we hold our breaths. We don't inhale and exhale. Like the breath is so important. It allows oxygen to your brain, when you get grounded again. And, perfection isn't, everything, and I would say that like throughout my career, that's one of the things that I always go to kind of get me grounded, get me back natural, get me back like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Mistakes are actually beautiful.
Wow, what an amazing sentiment to end off the Q&A on, Raquel.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And so much of that resonated with me, because when I do these, I be nervous. Like when I get off, I told you guys before, but seriously, the sweat it be coming.
It's a lot of work over here. Oh, look, Eva, they put you on stage.
Oh, thank you so much, Dior, for coming through today. You were amazing and awesome. Definitely you dropped some gems, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping us celebrate our birthday.
Happy birthday.
Like seriously, you brought so much good, awesome energy. So thank you so much.